Good morning, guys. In today's podcast, we are talking about the iPhone 16. We've had a bit of an update, a bit of a leak here. I always take these rumors and leaks with a grain of salt, but there is one rumor here that is definitely worth talking about. We also have the 2023 App Store finalists. This is the shortlist from Apple, where we get to see which apps have done particularly well this year. We also have some really good deals on Samsung SSDs. I use these for pretty much everything. As a content creator, I absolutely love the Samsung SSDs. I'll talk to you about some great offers happening there. And I'm just actually really excited to talk about the iPhone 16. There's been a lot of changes recently, some of which have been forced by the EU. Let's jump right in and talk about the iPhone 16 rumors. Okay, guys, so like I mentioned, any rumor that I see that's very, very early on in the life cycle of a new iPhone, I always take with a grain of salt, just because there's always just rumors floating around. People are just trying to get website traffic and clicks and followers and everything else on their social medias. But according to GSM Arena, which is typically a very reputable site, it turns out that the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max are going to get a small increase in size this year. So we're going to go from 6.2 inches to 6.8, and they'll both have a 120 hertz LTPO panel. That's actually interesting because that's a bit of a bump, really, in overall size of the larger phone. Personally, I still have the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and as much as I love having a big phone, it is really big. It's almost too big some days. It's hard to wield with one hand. It's hard to use with one hand while you're trying to type a message or do anything with one hand. So it's interesting to see that Apple is considering going even bigger. I wonder if that's actually going to happen or not. Really, the thing that caught my eye on this actual article is that the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, so the two base model iPhones, will keep the same size, but unfortunately, they're still going to keep the same 60 hertz refresh rate. So have a think about this. The iPhone in Australia, if you go and get the iPhone base model or the iPhone 15 Plus, either model, they have the 60 hertz display, but they're still really expensive. Like, if you go and buy an iPhone 15 Plus, let me just Google right now how much it is. The base model is $1,600. So that's very, very expensive for a base model phone that doesn't have an LTPO 120 hertz display. So even the cheapest Android phones nowadays from Oppo, from Samsung, from all the other brands out there, majority of them do come with 120 hertz display. It's almost criminal that Apple offers this base level iPhone at such a high price and it still has a low refresh rate screen. So probably what makes more sense, in my opinion here, is if Apple don't want to go to 120 hertz on the base model phones, at least go to 90 hertz. Or if you want to go one better, go to 120 hertz, but just have like the older technology in the display. So, on the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, have that super high refresh rate of 1 to 120 hertz, but on the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus, maybe have the 120 hertz that just goes from 60 to 120 hertz. So it is definitely a better screen on the Pro models, but you're still having that really ultra smooth motion on the base model iPhones. It's just crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, most people would probably never even know. Like, if you're not a tech enthusiast and you pick up a new iPhone and you look at it, it's a beautiful display, it's bright, it's vivid, it's very responsive. It's just like, how can you offer a phone that expensive and not have a display that's 120 hertz? It makes no sense to me. So I found this really, really interesting. I haven't actually used the iPhone 15. I've had a good look at the iPhone 15 Plus. That's probably the model that interests me the most. I went to the Apple Store a couple of weeks after it was announced and had a play with it. It is a really great phone. It looks beautiful. I actually really liked the fact that there is a slight curve on the frame now, which we didn't have on the 14 and the 13. It is definitely a little bit more comfortable to hold. And the thing I really like about the Plus is it's still pretty light. Like, instead of the Pro models that are quite heavy to hold, the actual Plus model is very light. And I really liked the brushed finished on them. I think they look excellent. So let's hope and pray that this rumor is not true. For me personally, I don't really use a lot of the Pro features in the cameras. I'm a pretty basic user with camera stuff. So if the base model 16, it comes out, it's got faster USB Type-C, it's got the dynamic island, it's got 120 hertz display, but it's not the top tier 120 hertz ProMotion, I would probably buy it. Like, it's got everything else I need. Even if it's got the previous chip from the year beforehand, it's going to do everything I need it to do, and it still has excellent cameras. It's still got that excellent 48 megapixel primary lens, which that's pretty much all I ever use. I never use the zoom lenses at all, and I rarely use the wide angle lens as well. So this is the thing Apple might have to consider in the next model iPhone. But I'm always curious, like, is this a deal breaker for you? Like, if the iPhone 16 comes out next year, it doesn't have 120 hertz, is it a deal breaker for you? For some people it is. Like, some people are just like, nah, I can go and get, the previous Pro model, which does have 120 hertz. I can pick that up secondhand, and that's what I really care about. So I always like to leave a poll on these types of leaks and rumors, guys, because I value your opinion. So just if you're on Spotify, you can leave a comment, and I'd be very curious to see what you guys think. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. All right, guys, let's talk about the App Store 2023 awards. This is essentially where Apple has nearly 40 apps, and they have 10 different categories, and they just go through all the different apps that have done particularly well through the year. I'm looking at the Australian version. I believe there is a US-based one as well. What they essentially do is they have a number of categories, and then they have a number of apps inside each category that you can have a look at. It's actually really entertaining, and it's a great way to find new apps and games that you might not have known about. So I'll leave the link in the show notes. You can click that and you can see which apps have made the finalist list this year. I'm just going to go through some of the ones I have personally used and I think definitely deserve to be in this list. And I'm going to start at the very top. So it says the finalists for the iPhone App of the Year category, which helped users discover more ways to explore and learn new skills. So we've got Alltrails, Duolingo, and Flightly. So Duolingo is probably the one I have used the most, and it's an interesting app, actually. It's a really fun way to learn multiple languages. If you've got kids, like my son is learning Chinese at the moment, I think that this app is a really great way just to learn new words and to put those into sentences and stuff like that. It's basically, it's just a really fun way to learn languages. It has been around for a little while, but you can purchase the whole app. It's $129. And then there's some other ones there where you can essentially get started for free. Some of the languages available is Arabic, Czech, Dutch, Filipino, French, German, Greek, Hindi, Hungarian, Japanese, Polish, Chinese, Spanish. It sort of goes on and on there. So yeah, if you're looking to learn a new language in a fun way, I would check out Duolingo. And then if we scroll down the page here, it's got iPhone Game of the Year finalists. I haven't actually played any of these, unfortunately. So I've got Afterplace, which is a role-playing game. We've got Honkai Star Rail, which is a space fantasy adventure game. And the one that I knew of was Vampire Survivors. I've heard that did quite well. I read a review on that one, and it's a rogue-like action genre. So maybe, I don't know. I don't really know much about it, but I did see that it got quite good reviews. So if you're looking for a fun game to play over the holiday, that might be a good one. Scrolling down the list. So this is one that I have tried. So I am a big DaVinci Resolve user. I have used it for a number of years, and it is now on the iPad, and it works very well. So if you're looking for a fantastic video editing suite that doesn't skimp on anything and it's professional grade, DaVinci Resolve is the one to go and get. Let me have a quick look. It is free on Mac OS. Let's have a look at the pricing and see what we got here. Okay, you can buy the whole thing, DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is kind of like the more premium version for $149. I think that's very reasonable for a piece of professional editing software, but you don't need to get that. Like, honestly, guys, I have ran a YouTube channel and edited thousands of video just in the base version of DaVinci Resolve. So I can definitely see why that is at the top of the list. So let's keep going. What else have we got? Okay. Return to Monkey Island, another really fun game. I remember playing this one as a kid, and it's actually been on Mac, but let's have a look at this one. Yeah, this is basically an updated version of Return to Monkey Island. I reckon, yeah, 4.9 out of 5. It's got a heap of reviews, and it's only $14.99. So if you're looking for another great game, this is definitely a bit of a flashback to when I was back in the 90s playing games. And then the final app that I noticed on the list that I've had some experience with is actually a personal finance app. It is it's called Copilot. Basically, it's just a really easy, simple app to use for you to track your personal finances. So if you're looking for something that's simple, it's got really good security. It's got Face ID. You can kind of see all your incomings and outgoings. It hooks up with your card. If you've got an Apple card, it hooks up with that. You can see like all your statements and spendings and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. And then, yeah, basically Apple has a whole heap of other apps in the list there, but a lot of them I hadn't personally tried, so I can't really comment on those. But yeah, let's move on, guys. I want to talk to you about a special offer at the moment on Samsung SSDs. All right, guys, so this one actually comes from Twitter, and Max Weinbach actually put this on his feed. It just says that the Samsung T7 1TB SSD are currently $90, and the 2TB SSDs are $135, which are both very good deals. I actually use the T7 to store all of my video content on. So as I mentioned just earlier, I often use DaVinci Resolve to edit my content. And one of the things I like about it is it can actually let me set a proxy and also export directly to the Samsung SSD. So I really liked Final Cut. I was using Final Cut for a long time, but one of the limitations with Final Cut is it won't let you set a custom destination or a custom folder to save your work to. So with DaVinci Resolve, one of the first steps when you're setting it up is you can go in and you can say, okay, I want to set this external drive or this network drive as my proxy, and also to save all of my projects to, which is fantastic. And the thing about the SSDs from Samsung is the read and write speeds are phenomenal. Like, they're so good. I think from memory on the T7 I have, it's just over 1,000 meg a second, which for editing like 1080p and 4K footage, that is plenty fast enough. And then, yeah, exporting files literally takes a couple of minutes. It's super, super quick. So if you're looking for something to save all your footage onto, maybe you just want to clear out some space on your computer, it works with both Mac and PC. It's extremely lightweight. There's no moving pieces on the inside, and SSDs run cool, and it works via both USB Type-C and USB Type-A. And one of the things I love about these T7 drives is you get both cables in the box. So I've actually got a Mac Mini that I sit on my desk, and that's got the old school Type A connection on the back. And sometimes you need that because all your USB Type-C connections are taken up. And yeah, just having the ability to use either cable is a massive win in my opinion. The other thing I really, really like is these will connect to both an Android phone via USB-C, and they also work with the new iPhone 15. So if you're doing video shooting and you want to save that footage directly to an SSD, you can also do that with the Samsung T7 drive. So links are in the description of the show, guys. I generally put affiliate links just because it helps the show out. You don't have to use those if you don't want to. You can go directly to Amazon and get the offers. But yeah, clicking the link gives me a little kickback and helps me to keep the show going. All right, guys, so that's it for today. I just wanted to mention quickly that I've got a special podcast talking about the best tech purchases and kind of like the best products of the year. Most YouTube channels do this. I thought it might be fun to do it in podcasting format. I just talked about the products I think were standouts this year. And I've also got one product on the list that I kind of rate as my overall best new product for the year. So you'll see that in your feed if you follow me on Spotify or Apple or any of those podcasting networks. I would love to know what you think. Do you like that format? Do you like kind of the tech news format? I'm still in that kind of early stages of defining what this podcast looks like. So your feedback is important to me. Thanks so much, guys. See you tomorrow. Cheers.